By what name are you known?
There are some who call me Tim.
Hey, how's it going? It's Ross here from the Trevena project, and you're listening to 20TIMinutes with Tim McCarthy.
What is going on, party people? Episode 24 of, you guessed it, 20TIMinutes. I am your host, Tim McCarthy. Thanks for checking in on me, seeing how I'm doing. How are you doing? Let me know. That introduction was done by Ross Trevena of the Ross Trevena Project podcast. I was just on his episode not too long ago, so I'm getting his intro on there now. Great fella. He looks like me, but in the British version. So if you needed a British version of me, go check out Ross. Great interview, great guy. Had a lot of fun with him. Still don't know what the royal family does in England, but that's okay. I don't want to know anymore. I'm done. Absolutely done with it. Thank you for rocking with me again, guys. I really appreciate it. I actually just got out of work, and I haven't gone to sleep yet. So I'm recording this with like 24 seconds on the shot clock till I get it over. But I'm feeling good, feeling great. I realized a lot of my episodes have been kind of negative almost. Not in the sense of like topics or the way I present it, but myself personally. And it was pointed out to me by a good friend. And I got to stop doing that because there's like that fine line of being like overly cocky, confident, and self-deprecating, like that little area. And I don't know how to do that because I don't want to be like, yo, I'm the best and this is the best episode ever. But then again, I can't be like, oh, this is the worst shit in the world. I've actually had a couple people say it to me. Porto, I think, brought it up to me. Just friends that hit me on the low and like, hey, man, you're a lot better than you are. And I really appreciate when people do that. So I'm going to be more positive. I'm going to be uplifting. We're just going to have some fun because this is 20TIMinutes. But I'm going to give you guys a heads up. Next week's episode is going to probably be a huge downer. It's going to be a big episode, and I think I'm gonna shock some people on this one. So this one will be fun. We'll have a little fun on this one because we're gonna get pretty aggressively serious on the next one. So episode 24. Hope everyone's doing great. I want to thank the people that have actually donated to my Buy Me a Coffee account recently. If you don't know what that is, it's like a little thing that you can sign up for a subscription to 20TIMinutes. And I give you little perks that aren't really perks right now because I'm not that big, but I do appreciate people helping out, supporting the podcast. My neighbor Matt, fucking balls, thank you so much. And my mom and brother like donated to me, so that's cool. Now I have to get them gifts for Mother's Day and their birthday, which are both coming up, and my anniversary. Fuck, I need to figure all that out. So thank you for the reminder of Buy Me a Coffee. Recently, I've been feeling pretty good. I'm excited for the weather. I realize I need to be more independent with myself because I know that was a big thing with me where I don't like going out by myself or doing things by myself. I like being with a crowd or with my wife. But with me and my wife's work schedule, it's pretty tough sometimes. So I need to be like an independent woman and an independent man and just go out and do stuff. Like I sat outside and laid on the hammock. I was like, you know what? I don't really even like the beach, but I want to start going to the beach. But then again, I don't really like groups of people. So I think I might just get a bunch of sand from my backyard and hang out there. Speaking of my backyard, actually, Christina, my friend Christina, came by and did some photos for the podcast for me. Because like I would get asked to be on these like podcasts and like everyone's sending them headshots. And I'm like, well, I got this one of me drunk. And do you want that one or should I just take an awkward selfie? So we had a lot of fun. I posted a couple of those on my Instagrams. And they came out great. I might just do a calendar of just 20TIMinutes, but it's the same face every month. You just get different dates, same face. I think that would sell. I am coming out with new hats. New hats have been ordered. They're coming out. They look great. Can't wait to show them to everybody. So I met with my therapist not too long ago, which is always great. Always go into it being like, nothing to talk about, nothing to talk about. Now, let me know if this is you as well. I've been with my therapist for almost like a year and a half, maybe 2 now, because I don't know timeline. So I kind of just say it so I sound confident enough where I'm like, yeah, it sounds about like 2 years. But then it's like 3. I haven't like told her everything yet. And I feel still weird in that sense of do I tell her this yet or do I don't? Like, I should feel comfortable enough to tell her everything. And I feel like someone else must feel like that. Like, I'm holding back on certain things I want to tell her, and I don't know why I won't tell her yet. Like, we have a good relationship, a good rapport, and I tell her a lot. I tell her a lot. But then there's like other shit. And I'm like, how deep do you want to go, lady? But she doesn't judge. I just feel like we're all human, and we all automatically judge people, I feel like, by default. And like, not in like a negative way, but it's like your instant reaction to someone telling you something fucking crazy, and you're like, whoa, let me process for a second. I just think I don't want that initial reaction. Like, I wouldn't want to see it. And it just sounds like I'm like hiding something terrible, which I'm not. It's just one of those things that I just feel super weird about. But I did get a change of meds because I was on the Adderall XR, which is like 12 hours of ADHD medication, which was like, I could handle it. I could take it and like take a nap, but then again, I wasn't sleeping. So that was my big thing. So I got down on a dose off that so I wasn't too high strung. And now I'm just on the regular Adderall, not Adderall supercharged. And I feel like that has been helping me a little bit with sleep. I'm still not getting sleep. But then again, when I wasn't getting sleep, I was miserable. I'm not getting sleep now, but I'm like in a great mood because I'm doing stuff with the podcast. Have a lot of great interviews coming up. Got one coming up this week I'll tell you about. And it's just so weird to me, like how different things in your life can change the way you act and feel. So it's like, if I didn't have this podcast and I wasn't getting sleep, I would not be okay. And the podcast isn't even, oh, never mind. No, wait, I was about to do it. I was going to say the podcast isn't doing that great, but you know what? The podcast is doing phenomenal. And I'm the best mental health podcast that talks 20 minutes named Tim. Yep, nailed it. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one. And the med change is good. And I like where it's going right now. And I'm so thankful to like have that. And I was on certain podcasts chatting with people. I have 2 guests coming up. And man, people forget that it's not easy. It's not an easy road to be like, all right, I'm going to get some help with my mental health. Like, oh yeah, that's great. But wait in line for 6 months to talk to somebody. And I just don't get that. It's like, I don't know how you fix that as like a fucking community. You know what I mean? It's like the mental health care system. It's probably no fault of their own. But then again, I don't know how to fucking fix that shit. I'm not smart enough with like money and all that junk. There are different resources out there, which I always bring up. There's like people you can talk to, even if you don't have health insurance. There's like the text crisis line. It's just like, as bad as it can get, there's definitely someone out there that will listen to you and help you out. Granted, it's not professional and shouldn't give you medical advice, but don't sit around without doing something at least telling somebody, telling a doctor or whatever. But it is such a brutal road. And I just hope everyone can get to that point of getting out of the lows. Because everyone I talk to that have been in the lows, and it's so cliche to say, it's like, it gets better. You know what? It gets better. And it can. It usually does. Realistically, sometimes it doesn't. And I'm trying to figure out why. And we got to help each other with figuring out why. Just got to hug each other more, man. Give me a hug, you big lug. And I was talking to her again. I always bring this up, but it's the goddamn TikTok people, man. And I told her about my like whole thing of like my hatred for it in the mental health community. She was like, I get so many clients now, like young kids that self-diagnose themselves off TikTok because they see somebody doing like an anxiety dance and like, you got anxiety, then I got anxiety. Clap your hands. If TikTok was an 80s app. But that's what's happening right now. Like, kids are like, oh, you organize things weird? I organize things weird. I have OCD. Nah, dude, you don't. You just might like organizing stuff. And that's the worst part about it. And I make the analogy, and I don't even know if it's that accurate, but it's like we're breaking the stigma. It's broken. And then these kids are like picking it up and gluing it back together and being like, no, we want you to feel bad for us because I have it worse than the other person, because this person has way more likes and upvotes than my video. And it's like, why is mental health a competition? I never understood that. especially when people are like, oh, it could be worse. Like, why are you making me feel bad about the way I feel? Oh, okay, he has it worse. Well, I'll just go fuck myself. Thanks. TikTok's so weird to me. I have a bunch of videos on there. You can like look at my old videos, but I don't like posting. I don't even like looking on there anymore. Start scrolling, see some girl dancing. I'm like, I don't know if this girl's 16 or 38, but either way, I feel like a creep and I'm deleting this shit. There's some funny things. Lindsay will watch it until she like dies in the bed. I'm like, you going to bed? She's like, yeah. And then I'll be playing video games or watching something, and I'll hear like a song or something. I'm like, what the fuck is she doing? I'm like, dude, go to bed. She's like, no, I'm going to bed. I was like, that was like 30 minutes ago. And she's just TikToking her balls off up there. I don't know what it is. It's like I get it, but it gets boring after a while. Even though there's funny people on there, but then you see it on Instagram or Twitter or Reddit. It's like, I don't know. But TikTok needs to figure it out. They had, what did they have just recently? It was like National Rape Day that someone created and it like caught on. But that's another thing that catches on with fucking these hashtags is I notice it. They'll be on Twitter and it'll be like hashtag National Rape Day or whatever. Then you click it and the reason it's popular because everyone keeps using it against it. So it's like, oh my God, there's hashtag National Rape Day. Like, what the fuck is this all about? It's like, hey, how about you just don't use the hashtag and it wouldn't come up and stir up a bunch of shit. Granted, you have to tell people about it, but I don't know. I feel like it's like a double-edged sword. It's like, bring it up, but you're using the hashtag, so it's getting more popular that people read. It's like, hey, just call the cops, figure it out. I don't know. I don't know. Social media freaks me out now. I used to be so into it, and I still am. Like, I like my Instagrams and my Twitters, but all that other stuff, people just fighting with each other all the time, it is absurd. I just like my Facebook town pages where everyone's just passively aggressive fighting with each other, being like, is today the day I bring out trash? Whose dog is this? Those are the best. I have a fake account that I go on mine and I battle with people, but not in like a mean way. I'll just say really passive things that are funny. You know, one time I did one and some guy replied back. He's like, I've been waiting for you to comment. And like I look like a real person, okay? I look like a real person on there. So it's not like a Dick's Insider type guy. I'm not going to tell you his name because just in case my neighbor Matt over there sees me talking shit to him, I don't want him to know it's me. Just kidding. But yeah, man, social media just needs to, I've said it before, everyone has to submit their license to be on the internet. It's like, if you don't think they're watching you now, you're an idiot, okay? Like someone's watching me live right now that shouldn't be watching me live. I get that. I signed up for the Apple iTunes agreement where no one has read that. And I'm pretty sure if you read it backwards like it's a record player, it's going to say like, we're watching you. That's what's going on, okay? Just put, all right, I'm not gonna stick with this whole social media bullshit anymore. But I wanted to move on to this. I've had conversations with friends about this, and I found it super interesting. It's about inventions, and inventions that have maxed out to capacity. Like there's nothing else you could really do to advance the technology. And I thought about this because of TVs, right? So TVs, man, they've come from like the big old boxes to like flat screens or whatever. They try to like reinvent the wheel with the 3D TV, the curved TV. Those things fucking suck, all right? Like what's next for the TV? Are they gonna invent the Apple II? You know what I mean? You hit a button on the side of your face and the projector comes out of your eyeball. Like Google Glass was something like that, but it's Google. Like Google's great, but it ain't Apple great. So that's on my list of TVs. What's next for TVs? Another one that's kind of no fault of their own because they still have to use them in the workplace are fax machines. Like they maxed out. There's not much you can do with it anymore, but they still exist for some reason. Like, yeah, I can like scan my phone and send it to somebody, but then again, like your business isn't gonna start texting each other all faxes. So like, what's next with the fax machine? I don't. Like, that's the one I'm like tripping up on. It's like you just throw it and it just boomerangs to somebody. I don't know. Fax machines, add them to the list. Next, ironing boards. They have maxed out. What can we do with an ironing board anymore? You can hide it and then it can flap down. But those things have maxed out. Same with irons itself. I think the only thing you can do with an iron now is have it be wireless. Or you buy the robot from the Jetsons and she does all that shit for you. Meaning which is like, when are we getting that? The Jetsons really got us all gassed up for a lot of cool shit. Like a tube where it just changes your clothes instantly, flying cars, robots that actually do shit and make witty jokes. Like, we have robots, but they're getting ready to kill us. They're not out there like singing out puns and shit, you know? Then, eye patches. That they maxed out instantly when they made those. I guess they can have ones without the string around your eye, but I feel like that wouldn't stick up too long. Like, you just get then you get like a replaceable eye. But eye patches, man. The creator of the eye patch was like, I got this. We made it. This is it. Eye patches. Umbrellas. Not much you can do with an umbrella anymore, right? Classic umbrella, which is wicked funny. You ever see someone walking down the street and their umbrella like turns inside out and they're just fucking struggling? That's a great thing to see. If you haven't seen that yet, oh man, hopefully it hits you soon. But they have the umbrellas that like cover your whole body, which are weird. Like, you're like walking in a tube, and then there's like the party hat, which is like a little umbrella, but that's it for umbrellas. They're not doing anything new. We've maxed out on umbrellas. If I'm wrong on any of these, please let me know, because then we can come up with a new invention to push this more. And these are kind of on the line, but they're not really inventions. They're just things I want to complain about. Limousines. Talk about a thing that no one gives a shit about anymore. I was driving to work and a limousine was on my left. Didn't even look over. Back in the day, like, oh my God, who's in there? Like, limos are like renting tuxes. They're just dirty as shit. And they just vacuumed it. Just buy your own tux. Like, why are you buying a limo anyway? You sitting there awkwardly with people and you're like, hey man, do you want to switch seats? Can you pass me a drink? And it's all bumpy and the guy driving it's drunk. Like, limos need to just stop. Get a potty bus. We've maxed out. Stretch Hummer limos. We've seen it all. Limos take a fucking hike, okay? Last one, okay? I don't even know how to start with this one, but ketchup as a whole. This whole COVID thing, they're giving you fucking Rolls Gold or Heinz or like, I don't know, Hunt's ketchup packets for like a restaurant. I gotta put work to squeeze out ketchup. It's like, why are they still in those packets? Like, Chick-fil-A has that one where you open it up, or you can squirt it and you can dunk it in. Like, that's what it should be like. But then I think about the old glass bottles, and you're like shaking it, like pulling your arm out of your socket. And like, no, hit the 57. Just hit the 57. And then you're like, okay. And then you hit it. You're like, wow, that does actually work. But then they got the big fucking plastic bottles where they don't have any directions on there. So yeah, you got to shake it up or you get that little squirt, which no one likes the watery squirt, okay? But when you get to the bottom of it, do I keep it upside down or right face up? But then if you keep it bottom way down, it's easier to squirt, but then it gets all crusty at the bottom. I mean, at the hole. But ketchup, the inventors at ketchup, Heinz, whatever, they need an overhaul. They need someone to come in and figure this out. And I'm not even just saying this right now, but I felt like someone just blew on my neck and I turned around and there's no breeze. That just freaked me the fuck out. If you guys saw something on the camera, please let me know. I got like legit concerned right there for a second. Shit. But yeah, let me know your inventions that have maxed out. I'd love to do it. I had a question from Pixie, from my friends over at Next on Stage 1. She asked, how do I prepare for the podcast? I don't. Realistically, I take ideas that I have and I keep them in my phone on my notes, where I have like just keywords, and I'll plug and play which ones I want to talk about in that era. What the fuck? In that episode coming up. And then sometimes I'll ask Lindsay, like, should I talk about anything? Or if like I said something funny or said something that like was a good conversation between us that could be for the show, to let me know. And I usually do that. And then the music I just kind of play on a whim. Same with the music and movie suggestions. So let's go with that. Movie suggestion. The new Mortal Kombat on HBO. Just watch it. Enjoy it. If you're critiquing a movie like Mortal Kombat, like, give it up, okay? If you're like, oh, it sucks, it was like the old one. It's a movie about a video game that parents wouldn't let you play in like the 90s, okay? Don't expect much. Watch some cool fight scenes. Just have some fun, okay? Music suggestion is Junior Senior, Move Your Feet. That's a jam from back in the day for me. Everybody, move the feet. Go watch that. Fantastic song. This week, I have Joe Barksdale on the podcast, former NFL player turned musician, who's battled a lot of mental health issues, molested as a young child, but has a great sense of humor with it. He's as sick as me when it comes to jokes. We had a great conversation. It will be out this Thursday. Please go listen to that. We had a lot of fun. He's coming out with an album called The Kyber Tapes, which is he's pretty much making a funk Star Wars album. So we talked a lot about that, which was fun. So be sure to check out that episode this Thursday after you finish this episode. If you finished it on Thursday, you know what I mean? I love you guys so much. Thank you again for rocking with me 20 minutes. Again, I want a preference for next week's episode is probably going to get pretty, I wouldn't say, it's probably going to get dark, but it's going to get pretty serious. Obviously, the only way I can deal with that is through humor. So I would really appreciate it if you guys give that a listen, because I am putting myself out there, which is pretty much a story that only a couple people know. So ratings, baby, throw myself out there, help a couple people break the stigma by cracking a smile. I need to put that on a shirt before someone fucking steals it. Am I right? Where's my love brain girl at? Where's Vincent Gracie? Give me a shirt. I love you guys so much. You know what time it is. Oh yeah, time's up. Love you. Have a good one. This podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. If you are feeling suicidal, please dial 911.